I'm trying to get funky, but it's not letting me. Let's see how we do here, folks. I got a B flat. Sorry about all the transmission issues, everybody. Tried to go live and some funky stuff started happening. So I got this little Q&A lined up. Bright, it's so bright in here. I got this Q&A lined up that I wanted to try to do with you guys. Some questions that came up in my community page. Look, there's the camera. In the community page of my YouTube channel. If you go there, there's a page where I post pictures, I post links to things, and I try to engage with you guys. Yes, the funky stuff, you guys. This is a little funky backing track from Jam Track's channel. Funky backing track in F. And I'm just playing some cross harp over it. I have 13 people waiting on the other one I started. Yeah, maybe I can kill that, actually. That would be kind of cool if I could do that while I'm talking to you guys. So here's some things going on. Yeah, I see the one that I'm live right now. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. Focus, Ronnie. I want to show you guys something cool that I did for a stream just recently on Facebook. There's this bending class, and I want to show you what I'm doing with these exercises. I'm doing an online class. It's half price. It's $10. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link to that in the video description. Here's the cool part. I'm going to show you what the exercises sound like right now. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And I'm going to give you a sense for what they sound like when you learn to do these drills that I'm going to lay out, what they sound like when you throw them into your music. So what you're hearing now is going to be samples of what I'm going to teach at this class. Now, granted, I'm throwing some other stuff in there, but really, honestly, most of what I'm playing right here is all about these little practices that I do on these bending drills that I've created, and I've shared them with students over the years. Sorry, everybody who's jumping in right now going, what happened to your scheduled stream? It just wouldn't let me, it would not work, so I had to go live again. Hey, you found it, so here you guys are. So getting funky with it is this whole thing. I'm playing cross harp on a B flat. You can just simply apply with a little bit of rhythm and a little bit of practice. Some of these maybe even in halftime. And what happens is, before you know it, you're really just kind of mixing up all this funky stuff, these patterns in the funky stuff. I just realized that that's where it comes from. What did I miss? I'm missing all sorts of stuff. Let me come back to that. I mean, really, honestly, a lot of these lines that I'm pulling are straight off of the exercises we'll be doing. You don't need a B flat. We'll just use a C harmonica for the class. This is just for demonstration purposes. So this track comes from Jam Tracks channel. That's the YouTube station I'm pulling this from. Yeah, I do have some funky kind of tracks, a couple of them on my store on Harmonica 123. I'll put some of those in the link in the video description. I'll put some stuff on sale that you can check out when this video ends. I'm just gonna play a little bit more, but I hope you'll check out this class Saturday. I'm doing a concert live on Facebook, and then I'll come back and do one live again on YouTube another day, but that's Sunday with my good buddy Andrew Duncanson. We're gonna be playing some blues live. I'll post more about the one coming to YouTube when it happens, and then there's really some really cool stuff coming up. So be on the lookout, and thanks for hanging out today. Guess that's the end of the track. So to recap, I'm going to be going through some great exercises and drills live in an online class. Check it out. It's $10 to join me. You'll be supporting me, an artist here that is solely working from home like many people these days. And I'm going to give away a ton of information along the lines of how you can learn these things and bring them into this kind of track, this funky track here, or any kind of blues. Really, they're applied in several different types of applications, not just funk. But I thought it'd be fun to bring in the funk track because I don't really play a bunch of that kind of stuff, but it was a big influence on my, can you send me a link to your online lesson? It'll be in the video description. When I post this, I'll update it. When I started playing harmonica, some of my biggest influences outside of blues were Grant Green, and listening to the Meters, and a bunch of fusion bands that were like funk and jazz, like this band Vinyl. That was my thing. I was living in Boulder, and I joined a funk and psychedelic kind of rock cover band at the time. So a lot of these elements were kind of in my brain already, sort of trying to learn some of these elements outside of blues. How do you clean potato chips out of your harmonica? You don't eat potato chips. That's the secret. Don't eat the potato chips, and they won't be in your harmonica. How do you clean them out? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Carefully, with a toothbrush maybe. Right on. Yeah, yes. We do have to stick together, and all my buddies are out there, we all know each other. I can tell you this, in the harmonica world, we're all good friends. And, everybody that you see online, we pretty much, all of us know each other. Even those of us that are across the sea. So Trying to think. Oh, the Q&A. I never brought up the questions. You guys posted some questions for me on my community page. If you have never seen this, go to my community page. I'll go ahead and answer a couple of these really quick. To be honest, some of these I didn't know how to quite answer. Here's question number 1. When playing octaves over a 12 bar in like B minor, using 1/4 draw over the 1 chord and 3/6 blow, the class is on a C harmonica tomorrow on Saturday. Playing octaves, yeah, so 1/4 draw over the 1 chord, 3/6 blow over the 4 chord, and 2/5 blow over the 5 chord. Yeah, you could do that. Make it flow like a big Hammond organ sound. Is there a way to make it flow like a big... So how can I do that on the spot here? Yeah, there is the answer. Sure there is. Just maybe try focusing on using those octaves. That was asked by Tony. Try using those with a tremolo effect of sorts. Make sense? Like, let's pull up a track, everybody, and try to do this on the spot. So here we have a rock and B. No, you guys said B minor. Yeah, let's just do same thing, 3rd position, octave minors, but this is like a rock. Well, that's going to be kicking ass, isn't it? So how can I take octaves and just float them like an organ? Maybe something like... You got to get an A harp. That's as close as we're going to get to answering that question today. Yeah, you can do stuff like that. Just sustain and hold them. Somebody says, talk about why it's important for an intermediate player to focus on more than just 12-bar progressions. Well, anytime you focus on more than one style of music, you're going to get the benefit of being able to pull all the things you learn from one into the other. So there's the reason why you should be doing that. It teaches you about different phrasing and about different chord progressions, and the list goes on and on and on. Better 2-hole draw technique, please. Who's struggling with the 2-hole draw? Here's a C harmonica. What they mean typically is just not being able to get a nice clean note out of that 2 draw. So the secret is to let the tongue drop and flatten your mouth and just say the word ah, but breathe in with no vocal cords. And that will help you to bring the tongue down. Remember to keep your tongue down and your mouth open and relaxed, giving you a good result on the 2 draw. Because if your tongue is up at all, you'll get this kind of semi-bent sound, and that's no good. So let the tongue drop, let the cavity inside your mouth open. In how much time one can learn decent blues harmonica, everyone's different. You guys really, I know people that have in 6 months to a year have accomplished what some good players takes them 10 years, and vice versa. So everyone's different. I can't answer that question. How much time do you spend practicing? Spend as much as you can, as much as time as you got that you enjoy, but make sure your time is focused. Because if you're at home and you're playing and it's just, you're always jamming to jam tracks, that's not really practicing. You need to figure out some angles to get focused on practicing, like working scales and drills, learning songs, practicing technique, etc. Try to spend maybe 45 minutes to an hour a day minimum if you can spend that. Could you mention the YouTube channel? It's not really a question. What would your approach be to teaching blues harmonica to someone who can bend very well, play single notes, and practice octaves and tongue blocking but can't put it together? Uh, yeah, you know what? There's a million ways that you can work on putting it together, and I would say pick one. Just a song study is a good way. If you're studying other people's music, you'll have a good sense for how it all fits together. Honestly, there's so many different ways to work on this. Work independently on 12 bar structure. Work on technique. All the things that I was just saying you could work on in a practice session, bring that into your sessions in a focused manner that support your big picture. Your long-term goal is what you want to support. So if your long-term goal is blues harmonica playing, start with a subtopic that's just below that, another umbrella topic, like a song study. And I would say that would be a great way for everyone to sort of get focused. Use the song study to understand what kind of technique you should practice, what positions you're working on, what theory you need. You'll start to gain perspective of what the song is requiring you to do. For example, somebody just asked about tongue blocking. So let's say you want to get focused on tongue blocking. Find a song that's heavy in tongue blocking, like Big Walter Horton. Maybe you'll study some. There's so many good ones. Walter's Boogie would require a lot of tongue blocking and tongue slapping and flutters. This is all in the tongue blocking world. All this fits together. What can I give you as a tip really quick for that? Sorry, guys, I'm distracted by something else going on. I would say a best tip for you if you're trying to get into tongue blocked embouchures, understand, because there's a lot of different types of tongue blocking. Go for the tongue on the harmonica with a direct application of the top of the tongue instead of the tip of the tongue. A lot of people learn how to play an octave, but you're talking about tongue blocking, traditional tongue blocking. We're thinking single notes. So you want to get the harmonica really deep in your mouth. And really focus on getting the angle right. What technique would be most improved by studying? Whammer jammer, all sorts of techniques. Rhythm, timing, blow bending, everything. So look at this. See how I get a little angle going so that I can seal it off. If I go too straight, you may get that fuzzy sound, two notes at once. Take a minute, let it settle. And learn one simple line tongue blocked. Instead of trying to learn a whole song like Walter's Boogie, grab one phrase. Just take the tongue on and off and focus on covering the holes to the left and get that single note out of the right side of your mouth. Man, it's so hard for me to read these, you guys. Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, whoever said that about the Stage 5 amp that lives nearby, shoot me a message at ronnieshellist@gmail.com. I'd be happy to sign an amp that you have purchased from Stage 5. When I play first position, am I playing by ear? I am. I'm playing everything by ear pretty much. There's of course some phrasing that you remember that sort of live with you in first position, like any position. So those things come up, but Yeah, these are all just by ear. But think about it. When we say, I learn or I play by ear, what do you really mean? Damn, these are dirty. What does that really mean? You know what I mean? What I mean by ear is that there's a lot of things that support ear training. So a lot of it is just listening without the instrument, and then there's like trying to practice imitating what people are doing. But then there's learning scales, which you can ear train a scale, right? You don't have to read it in tablature. You can hear somebody play it and ear train a scale. And that's another angle of what I bring into what you call, just playing it by ear. You see what I mean? So you can bring a little more structure into your ear playing, your ear training, I should say, which is what I try to do. I try to limit the amount of theory. I don't study heavy on the theory. What I'm trying to do is process the idiom, the expressions, the lines, and the nuance of the style that people bring in, and then grab a little piece of that, make it my own. That's what I'm trying to do. Just trying to play what I feel. Thanks for everybody that checked out the podcast with Tomlin. That's awesome. Somebody said you blocking embouchure. Maybe I misunderstood earlier. I cannot talk about it. I don't do it. Where you kind of curl the tongue. I don't do that, so I can't talk about that. Norton Buffalo played that way. But yeah, for Whammer Jammer, you're working on rhythm, tongue flutters. Well, does he use that? Yeah, he does. Warbles, you're working on a lot. Sonic cleaner gets my glasses clean. I was thought about learning by ear. Yep. Without reading music, right? Using the major scale and cross. Playing some 12 bars. Yeah. Inevitably, let me explain one thing about that, what you just said. Hey guys, so check this out. I primarily play 2 scales in cross harp. I'll just do this, and then I gotta get out of here for another lesson. But if you have an A harmonica, you can follow me. I'm using the blues scale for sure. 2 draw, 3 draw, half step bend, 4 blow, 4 bend, 4 draw, 5 draw, and 6 blow. But I'm also using the major scale, pentatonic. And if you the better way to work this is to mix these 2 scales together. I mean, in other words, if the challenge is like, can you just pick a particular scale and work it in a 12-bar fashion? Sure. But wouldn't a better question be, what's the best way to work a 12-bar? Because like application, what's the best way for you to practice it? And that would be these 2 scales mixed together. So I'm improvising some riffs, but I'm considering the scale notes as a way to move around. It's not impossible, though. With an octave, ooh, that was interesting. What did somebody say? Can you demonstrate bending a single hole in an octave while the other one's not? That's actually a split, not an octave. I think I'm bending the 3 draw down as far as the full almost. It's hard to do on this A harp on the 1/4 draw. There's something I don't use very often because it just sounds funky. It sounds funky. You could bring it into a funk. You could bring those kinds of sounds into some funky stuff, but yeah. Yeah. Somebody had a really good question or mentioned something. The class of bends involves the teaching of doing bends while tongue blocking. I can bend. I can bend. Yeah. Find it impossible with the tongue. Well, here's the thing, you guys. Let me just catch up here. And are working on the pentatonic scale. Yep. Right on, Tim. Yep. So, like, somebody is talking about I can't bend tongue blocked. I'll get a G harmonica, Adam. Get a G. If you're worried about tongue blocking, bending while you're tongue blocking, then ask yourself the following questions. Have you committed fully to becoming a tongue blocked player? I am not. Have you? If you are, then by golly, you need to work on tongue switching, perhaps, which is going to the other side and getting the note out of this side of your mouth. You need to work the bends, draw, and blow all the way tongue blocked, right? Which is something that I'm still working on. You never hear me do this in a video, by the way, ever. This might be it right here. You can hear how weak my bends are because I don't apply them with tongue blocking. I taught myself to do that so that I could try to teach others how to bend with tongue blocking. But my point to you is, before you go beating yourself up over tongue blocking these bends exclusively, make sure that you're committed all the way to becoming a tongue blocker full time. Otherwise, what's the point? What is your benefit for bending on tongue blocking? That's what you need to figure out, I guess I'm saying. Because some people will say, no, I like it better. I just like the sound of it when I hear people do it. Okay, then that might be enough for you. It wasn't for me. I feel like I'm getting pretty good tone on the bends, and I don't need it. So here's all pucker. That's even pucker. Whoops, I slipped in one tongue block below note. But yeah, so you can get great tone bending. Obviously, you can get great tone as a tongue blocker. But choose your battles. To me, the most important is to be able to make good music on the instrument, to be able to express yourself. Beyond that, you challenge yourself any way you want. But I still do, and I will continue to work on tongue blocking and bending with tongue blocking because it's just a nice challenge. Why wouldn't we? I mean, I want as many challenges thrown at me on this instrument, technically, musically, as I can find, as long as I relate to them musically. Now, if you said we're going to work on opera, playing harmonica to a bunch of opera music, I like listening to opera, but I may not want to play harmonica to it, and there would be a disconnect. But yeah, I mean, make music first. You know what I mean? That's what I think about all this stuff. So that's nice. Here's the deal. You can't not use it if you want to get the language of the blues down. You have to tongue block something to a degree. You've got to get these slaps. That sound is a part of blues harmonica playing that cannot be denied, and it is only acquired through tongue blocking. So I am a big believer in the school of thought that says if you want to play blues harmonica, you must tongue block to some degree. but I don't think you need to be a full. It's not my opinion that you have to be a full-time tongue blocker. For the person that was having issues on a G harp, work on an A and an A flat a whole bunch, and then go back up to the G, then go back to your A flat area, and then go back to the G. You're trying to get practice at a key that's close to it, right? That's still, it's easier for you to play an A, I would imagine, and then jump on that G. There's more air, so just consider open positions, more open positions with your embouchure on a G harp. Like the one draw bent requires this big open embouchure, and you might have to just really focus on diaphragmatic breathing to get the instrument to sort of work with you, not against you. So maybe warm up with your G playing some nice rhythms. It forces you to do these nice long. Believe it or not, even a G, you can just attack it very gently. What is the lowest? What was that? Lowest and high harmonic key harps you play and own. I guess the highest one is a F. I used to have a high G. They make a high A too. What do you mean, what do I do with the flat fifth? That's like speaking Chinese to me. I pretty much tongue block anything that's around 4 through 9, unless there is speed or bending involved. Like real quick speed legato stuff. So I'm trying to tongue block everything going. I'll pucker all my bends. See how I want to point out that I don't think about theory like that from scale degree stuff. I just don't think of music like that, so I didn't learn that way. And I don't teach that way either. I mean, it's great that you know that, and I'm not taking away from what you know. That's awesome. But the 4 bend, I pucker it. Occasionally, I might tongue block it in the heat of the moment. Like a little tiny dip into a bend where it's not the half step all the way down, maybe, but most of the time it's all bent with a pucker. And all this stuff is always puckered. Hell yeah, I was frustrated as a beginner. Was I ever frustrated? All the time. I couldn't bend the 2-hole down. That's what it was. I could not get the 2-hole to bend. I remember distinctly on my C harmonica thinking that it was the harmonica, that it was broken. I might have been able to get that little bend on like, not even a semitone, like a quarter step. So here's the thing. Saturday's class on bending is going to help you tremendously. I've been working at this for 25 years now, playing the harmonica. But the bending class is designed to give you all these drills to strengthen the muscle memory and get the tongue aware of where it should be. It's repetition that helps you get there. If you've never considered this, when you play harmonica, when you practice in any instrument, sometimes you're going for things that will never come out. Like let's say you're working on this little... and you can't get it because you're not able to go, let's say you slow it down. But let's say you can't get the bends to come out. Would it make sense to still practice it and go for it? Absolutely. I would say that I would encourage you to sit there and practice this as if it were coming out. You go through the motions, and then one day you're going to be going for these bends, and because you've asked your tongue 50 times in a row to try this thing, it's all of a sudden going to land on it. And then the key is, can you replicate it? So when I practice bending, I'm coming at it from these musical movements, these patterns that I've created over the years. And I think once I go through these on Saturday in this class, I'll post it in the video description, all about that half-price class coming up Saturday. I think people are going to get that when I'm playing, some of these patterns for half-step bend practice, that they're coming out in my music like I demonstrated at the top of this clip. Y'all, that anybody that was hanging out that saw that will hear how easily the application of that fits. Now, I've got a lesson about to start, so what I'll do is leave you with a small sample one more time of just what you can expect to learn, how I apply these drills. So if you weren't there, check this out. I'll play for you guys a couple minutes through this little track. I'm just trying to put these little patterns in. I'm not even fully trying to, let me be really clear, I'm not even really trying to fully improvise right now. I'm improvising, but I'm intentionally bringing in these patterns that I'll share with you on Saturday. Right on. No, I've seen people play the harmonica through the nose. It's totally, I will not demonstrate that for you now, but it's totally possible. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you guys real soon. Appreciate it. Go check out the video description after I post this. Give me like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and then check back and check out some of the links. The class coming up. What else is coming up? A bunch of stuff. I'll put it in the video description. Thank you very much for hanging out. The class is at 11 a.m. Central on Saturday. Online, recorded. As long as you have an internet connection, jump in with your phone, tablet, laptop, or desktop computer. I will send you an email with handouts. It's $10 to join the class. It's all recorded for preservation, so you can go back and download it and practice it all day long.